Yeah, I can just imagine Cassian like, wait, is this about the ring? Is this about your fiance's ring? You're gonna have her get it?
Oh, you like her,
Yes, bro.
right? So you like her. Right? He's like
Rhys is like,
this
stop it.
this is the girl then, huh? Unless he's like,
Cassian.
unless Cassian's like, don't send another one, bro.
Welcome back to the Book Reading Bitch Queens podcast. I'm Allie.
And I'm Sam. And this week we are looking at chapter 19, where they've just come back from the Bone Carver and they're having their conversation about their conversation with most of the inner circle. So Moore and Cassian and Azriel are there, and they're making their plans to find the Book of the Breathing, and deciding that Feyre needs to be tested to see if she can track.
And employed.
Yes.
I always think of that TikTok clip. Sad, unemployed. You know what I'm talking about? I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
It's funny.
Have you seen K-pop Demon Hunters?
No.
Okay.
I don't have a child in 2026. That's why.
You don't need a child in 2026 to watch K-pop Demon Hunters. It is 100% totally okay to watch as an adult because it's amazing and the music is great. But but
I haven't been harassed into it.
Yeah, well, that's fair. But there is a fun K-pop Demon Hunters SJM meme that I was gonna share with you.
I probably will watch it. Like, dude, we were realizing we haven't watched a single thing since the Shields last year.
Wow.
Like, that's how fucking busy this year was.
Yeah. I haven't watched the last like new thing we watched was Stranger Things.
I never watched that.
Yeah. You'd like it. Now that it's finished, you'd like it.
It just seemed like so much to do.
It is kind of a lot.
I got better shit to do. Oh, I am getting.
That's how I feel about all TV right now, because I'm just like, I would rather read. Which is
I'm
wild.
getting urges to watch X-Files again, I will say. Ever since I brought it up the other week. Stupid. Not stupid, it's incredible. Okay, so yeah, I just think it's funny how scared they are of Amren still. Because that's the first thing. I'm like, this is very present. I don't remember this at all, but I guess this is part of the mood. She's still uncertain about them.
I don't have a ton for this chapter, but I do have some like things that seem to be like, I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
And I do think that this is like, we're starting to see more of the like attraction tension.
Oh yeah.
Starting to like really happen a bit more.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't really have anything until we get to like 205. So I don't have anything for the first page.
Yeah. Just the Amren thing, it's some vibes. We get like, everyone's kind of sitting and a little joke about, you guys are like little dogs.
Yeah.
And
I do. The things that Feyre picks up on from Rhys in this chapter, I think, are also like trust building type things. Like, one, it reveals that there's a level of understanding and trust that's already embedded in their relationship, but I also think it shows the like continuation of that getting more intense. Because like on 205, right, she said, this is almost halfway down, it says, so Rhys told them of the cauldron and the reasons behind the temple pillages, no shortage of swearing and questions, and revealed nothing of what I had admitted in exchange for the information. And so like already right there, she's like kind of letting him tell all the stuff, and then also realizing that he's keeping her part of it to himself. Like he's not sharing those things.
That part to me felt like a moment where you see the brick laid of their trust, because they're like, oh, she noticed that and that was important to her.
Yeah.
And that's her being like, good move. I'm cataloging that one. Yeah. I noticed that one too.
I do wonder who Azriel's sources are. because
Yes.
we get this idea that the shadows are his sources, that he talks to the shadows. But this seems like there's individuals, right? I'll
Yeah.
contact my sources in the summer court about the half of where the half of the book of the breathings is hidden. I can fly to the human world to figure out where they're keeping the parts of their book before we ask for it. And then Rhys says, "No need. I don't trust this information, even with your sources, with anyone outside of this room, save for Amren." And then Azriel comes back with, "They can be trusted." And right, it says, "With quiet steel, his his scarred hands clenching." And so, like, you were talking about last week
This is what I
off.
was talking about.
Oh, yeah, there's some tension here. And, like, I think, so I'm
Between
trying,
Azriel and Rhys.
yeah, and I'm trying to pay attention more because, like, all of them push back, right? Even Cassian at some point is like, dude, that's like, find a different way. And even more is like, dude, you're an asshole. Like, they all have a voice. And so maybe it's not just specific to Azriel, but there seems to be some very, like,
Yeah. Now, I will say, she does say, like, she almost hears Rhys's. I wonder if he's kind of like quasi accidentally yelling down the bond type of thing because he's expressing it strongly, or maybe she's just hearing him say that to Azriel's mind or something.
I think she's just
It's
attuned to him. I think that she just
yeah,
already knows his facial features.
yeah. So, but I can see how, like, Rhys at least feels bad, but he is still putting his foot down. I was
Yeah.
like, his thumb. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's still putting his foot down, and so he is kind of like, and I mean, with good reason, to be fair. Like, but it is interesting that, like, it is some tension from Azriel, and you get the
Mm-hmm.
sense. I get the sense that Azriel feels very, like, proud of his sources and his ability, and he, like, wants that full trust, and so he sort of takes it personally. Now, you kind of get that vibe, and also he's a grown man, so maybe he's not really doing that, and we're just
Also,
imagining all this hurt and stuff. But I do kind of think we'll see some of that in book 6.
there's also, yeah. So, and I don't know if it's just like a tension and he's proud of what he does, or because we hear more about it in books like 4 and 5, right? When, like, Cassian is so when Rhys tells Cassian to, like, step up and do some emissary shit, he's like, Azriel's already stretched thin. Like, Azriel volunteers for everything. And I don't know if it's a pride thing or if it's a debt thing or if it's just a brother bond or he's just like, like he
I'm
feels.
picture he's like a perfectionist. That's what I mean by pride. Like, he's like,
Yeah.
no, I do something and I do it right, and my sources are trustworthy. I fucking, like, I feel like
Yeah.
it's that kind of thing. Like,
Or
don't check my
also,
work.
I feel like Azriel has, and I'm wondering if we'll see more of this. I think that Azriel has the same level of, like, self-sacrifice bullshit that Rhys has, but for fundamentally different reasons.
Mm.
That I
Like,
feel like Azriel has a little bit of, like, self-loathing, and
yes.
Rhys does
So does
too,
Race.
but I think it's on a different level. Where I think
Yeah.
Azriel is like, let me do the dangerous shit because I'm expendable.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I've made myself so good at this job, not because I need to be, like, worthy, but so that I can protect you. So just put it on. And, like, even in this chapter, like, Moore looks at him in a way that's like, don't volunteer for this. And he looks at her like, quit being an idiot.
Wait, where
He
is
says,
that? Because I was wondering about that. That's on the next page or something. Well, okay. I think the one I was talking about is in the middle of 207, where Rhys says there's a way to test it, and Cassian says, "Here we go." Moore gave Azriel a warning glare, telling him not to volunteer this time. Oh, that's what you're looking for. Yeah. Right.
yeah, yes, yes.
So, what is she telling him not to volunteer for? To go to the Weaver, or to? Well, no, he can't.
Well, to be the one to test something.
But it's literally Feyre has to.
Yeah.
We can't know that for sure. There was a way to test it. I read that as more of like they all know that that's the engagement ring. They didn't. I took it as like they know that the engagement ring is there and there's this thing, right? Because
Yeah, but they haven't come to the terms yet with
do
that.
they know it's an engagement ring?
Okay, so let's pause. and back up. But yes.
Okay. But I was wondering about that fucking look between them.
Yes, I think there's a lot to break down there. Because okay, hold on.
And do they all know that she's his mate at this point? We know Moore knows.
Moore knows.
Is that everybody? He said that. I actually looked at 54, and he said that when he was going to get drunk on Feyre's wedding day, that Cassian didn't know why.
Mm-hmm.
But Moore knew. So maybe Cassian just didn't know that it was the wedding day?
No,
and he knew it was a mate, or he didn't know he was a mate?
They don't know. The boys don't know. Azriel and Cassian do not know.
Amren can smell it. Moore was told.
Yes, and I think that they suspect, especially once they are like, because so there's a bonus chapter for Cassian and Nesta that happens, I think, in this book, if not the next book, and he alludes to, well, so I guess it would be this book. Mm-hmm. And he alludes to it there, where he's like, clearly my High Lord is falling in love with her. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're mates. Or he like makes some comment about that. And then when she finds out that they're mates from the Azriel, and she asks Rhys, like, did you know? And he says yes. And she's like, does everybody know? And he's like, Moore knows, and Azriel and Cassian suspect.
You're right. Okay. Because I was like, if everyone's known in here, that would drive me fucking crazy and be embarrassing. But they clearly all know that it's at least the heirloom that his mom put there, or his actual engagement ring. Like, they all know what it is, right?
Yes. I think that, yeah. And I think that's probably a big clue as to, like, maybe this isn't his mate, but, like, I think that that's the
he likes her.
Yeah. Like, and it could be, right? I mean, they at least know what it is. They know that it was put there. So you would just assume that they knew why it was put there.
Mm-hmm. But well, no, they could just be like, I have a ring and it's important to my family. My mom says No, there's no way he's telling that story and not saying so. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I know that's like really kind of off. It's just jumping ahead a little bit.
I think if anybody knows, it would be Azriel, because Azriel worked for his dad. Huh? No, I mean, I think Moore knows too, but I think between Azriel and Cassian, I think Azriel would pick up on it sooner. I think he already maybe knows what it is and what it means here, because there's some pushback. But before we get there, on 206. Right, they're talking about, like, if Hybern's already infiltrated, it's an act of war, right? And then he says, I plan to return the favor, and Moore asks how, and Rhys says, it will require careful planning, but if the cauldron is in Hybern, then Hybern we must go, either to take it back or to use the book to nullify it. And then Feyre's internal thoughts are, some cowardly, pathetic part of me was already trembling. And I had two thoughts. One, it's not cowardly and pathetic. You were a human 5 minutes ago. These were never supposed to be your problems, and this is a big baddie. Yeah. So, like, and I get that, like, maybe it doesn't, like, and even still, like, even if you're like, oh, well, she already did all of the Under the Mountain stuff, so why would she be scared? Because she says it later on, Amarantha was one of his commanders. Like, imagine who her person is. If Amarantha was as bad as she is, how bad is their leadership? So she has every right to be worried. This is dangerous. But also the fact that she's like, it's a pathetic part of me that has me trembling. I'm wondering if that's some of that high lady energy already, where she's like, doesn't recognize that being scared of this is a natural thing to do, and rather feels pathetic about it. Feels like she should be braver. She should be fighting.
Yeah,
she should be stepping up.
She knows that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because if someone told me that I had to go and, like, fight in the war, no thank you. I did not sign up for that. If someone said, oh, we're going to put you into a fairy land and you're going to fight someone who has, you know, fucking magic beyond all belief and can annihilate the world faster than our stupid ass president can pump that red button, like, that's scary. But the fact that she thinks it's a pathetic part of her that's scared of this, I'm like, fear is this. It's a rational thought to be afraid. Granted, she's in a room full of people who are all looking at him like, hell yeah, let's go fuck shit up. So she probably thinks like, oh, like, and that could be part of it too. Why she feels pathetic is because she doesn't feel to the level of her peers right now.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
That like Rhys is like, I'm going to return the favor. And then like Moore and Cassian are like, hell yeah, let's go. Fucking oorah. And she's like, what?
It gives like heist vibes, especially on the page before in 205. He says, and it seems we need to start doing what we do best. And I was like, are you guys like a fucking street team? Like what is
like, what is it that you do best?
Like what you guys do this all the time?
Yeah, like what is
just be like running, like it's like old times where they would like do scheme and scam, or I don't know.
But yeah, you know, I would be so here for like
a prequel series.
A prequel series. Like
yeah, like them like 100 years ago hanging out.
Yes, the like post-war pre-Amarantha.
Yeah.
When Cassian is just hoeing.
Pining after more.
I just want hoe bag Cassian and just like lame trysts for Rhys, and I want him to be like, I got off, but it was boring. Like I want all of those. I want all the things.
That's funny. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just like, what is this? What we do best? It gives like heist movie.
Yeah. So back to this, right? So we have if she has a kernel of our power, it's like having 7 thumbprints.
Okay, also this is for sure gonna come back by the end of the series. The thumbprint thing, I feel like it'll come back in some form where like she can reach out to their powers in something else. Like, I don't know. It feels like it's just underutilized because it's crazy. She basically has like everyone's password. You know, like surely she's gonna use it in some form or fashion. Not necessarily. I could see it coming in like because it's the precedent has been set. It's one of those things that an audience could easily forget about until like the last book, and then it's kind of like one little like thing, but it has good precedent.
What if she becomes like kind of like a like Bryce a little bit, where she can open up any gate, because we find out that there's a bunch of gates in each of the courts, and because she has a kernel of each of their things, she's like got the key to all the gates.
Yeah, I mean, I hope whatever it is, it's well done, but it just feels like, you know, we get what role it plays in this book. It feels like surely that's gonna
like
gonna be useful some other time,
right? Like I want you to be able to like go and like snatch Lucian out of a autumn dungeon because you have a thumbprint. I want you to have to like
I don't know. It can't be something crazy, or I feel like it'll be last book because I don't think, you know, the next 3 books are apparently all Elaine, maybe, or whatever that is. But like, you know, say there's 2 more books after that. I feel like it'll be like last book vibes, where it's like a callback, and she's not like the main character, but she is clearly still utilized. And that would be like, you would forget that this is a thing by the time, and it would be a great use of it. Just like.
Or that she's like a conduit for them, right? I mean, we already have Bryce and Hunt, right, as this conduit thing. And so like maybe there's something where like the 7 High Lords' powers all need to come together, and she's the conduit to like put that together or something. Yeah,
there's interesting vibes. But anyway, that was my thought there, was that it feels like it'll come back in a sneaky little way or something at some point.
But later. So he says that, right, you'll be able to track it through that very magic, right? No matter where it's been concealed. You can't know that for sure. That's what Feyre is saying. No, but there's a way to test it. Here we go, Cassian grumbled, which, okay, like maybe
he doesn't know what it is yet. He just thinks there's some
bullshit. And I think he's just, he's just like, okay, like, either, okay, grumbled. So I guess he's just like, Rhys and his fucking plans. Here we go. Like maybe Rhys has a little bit of like Aelin vibes in this, where like, right, where it's like not so much like the secrets, right, where it's that reveal, where it's the here we go after the fact.
What fucking plan do you have that you didn't tell any of us about?
Yeah, that's what this feels like. Yes. And then again, right, so there's a way to test it. There's a way to test if her magic can pick up on concealed items. And Moore gives Azriel a warning glare not to volunteer this time. The spy master just gives her an incredulous look in return. So Is she like, how could he be utilized for that?
Maybe there's a different secret item and he's like, obviously I wouldn't do that. Like maybe that like it's just like there's something else. And but also or maybe Azriel has a trace of Rhys's power. And Feyre could test it by sensing something in Azriel. That's really far-fetched, but we've been talking recently
Or
about
that,
Rhys and Azriel and stuff,
Rhys puts some sort of concealment spell onto Azriel, and Azriel goes and hides somewhere, and they have a fucked up
but Mor
Fae
wouldn't be freaked
hiding.
out by that.
Yeah, I don't know, unless he
She
was
wouldn't
like,
like imagine that. It kind of seems
yeah,
like there's like another.
it's questionable.
Yeah.
Or this is just a very simple, like, these are the things that they always do. Like you've said about, like, there's a list of behaviors that these characters, like, that behaviors do. And this is one of them, that anytime a new, and maybe this is why the incredulous look happens, that anytime any plan, doesn't matter, it could be like, who's getting wine for dinner? Mor looks at Azriel like, don't volunteer. For every single thing, like, stop. You volunteer too much, you do too much work, you don't need to do everything. Like, maybe that's just her thing, where she just automatically knows that no matter what the request is, Azriel's gonna be like, I got it. And she's just like, this, and like, maybe she's like, you can't help here, so don't even try. Like, this isn't about you. Funny. Like, maybe she's holding him back and like expecting him to volunteer even though she knows he can't do anything. And maybe that's why he gives her the incredulous look, like, why would I volunteer? Like, this isn't even about me. I can't do this.
Yeah. So there's either a funny answer or a very interesting answer.
Or they think that Azriel would volunteer to do it instead of Feyre and be like, I don't need the power. I'll just go and get whatever thing that you like. I can test it. See if I can find it with my shadows.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's lots of options here. There's an internal conversation of something that we are not privy to. And then, right. And so then he says, right, your abilities can do the things, yada, yada. We're going to take a little trip, see if you can find a valuable object of mine that I've been missing for a considerably long time. And Mor immediately knows what it is.
Yeah.
And Azriel too. She says shit. And she pushes her hands into the thick folds of her sweater. And I said, right, is she saying shit because she knows it's to the Weaver? Mm-hmm. Right? Is she responding to the Weaver aspect of it, where she's like,
I think both, and that also means what it means about Rhys.
Yes, I was like, or is it because she knows that it's the ring and that the ring was placed there to test Rhys's?
I think it's both.
Person, yeah.
And then Azriel clearly knows. Let's see, and Cassian even seems to know because he's gonna say something, and then Rhys is like, "Shut it." Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just imagine Cassian like, wait, is this about the ring? Is this about your fiance's ring? You're gonna have her get it?
Oh, you like her, right? So you like her. Right? He's like this is the girl then, huh? Unless he's like, unless Cassian's like, don't send another one, bro. It's like the last 4 girls you dated, you sent to do this, and they all died. Don't send another. This isn't the one.
Melted.
She's like running through the hair of all of Rhys's old melted.
No, he hasn't said anyone. That would be so psychotic.
That would be psychotic, yes.
What a scandal. The Weaver files.
But yeah, I think that there's a sort of double meaning here for the shit thing.
Yeah.
Because like there's two things at stake, right? One, there's the actual war at stake, seeing this power, doing the things. But then Mor also knows that, like, perhaps the bigger challenge is if she can get it and is worthy of Rhys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, what if she fucking dies?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, we're just gonna risk this girl's life. Hope Rhys is right about her being a mate.
And I think that that's one of the reasons why Moore snaps on the next page, right? By the cauldron, Rhys, she snaps, setting both feet on the carpet. Are you out of your, right? Are you out of your mind? Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's maybe why, because I think she's leaning into not the level of danger. I mean, maybe that's part of it, right? That this is dangerous. You don't fuck with the Weaver. Like, are you crazy to send
I
her
think that's
there?
what it is.
But I think part of it could also be that she is thinking he's a selfish asshole right now.
Well, yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, you can't send her there. What if she gets hurt? Like, I think,
Yeah. But I
but I think
But
he has faith in
I don't
her.
think it's solely a level of danger, right? I don't think it's right. Imagine that she didn't know anything about the ring, and he's just like, "We're going to go and test this theory." She could still say, "Are you out of your mind? That's too dangerous," right?
Mhm.
Because we like her or whatever. But I think that it's more of the like, really, this right now when this is going on, you're going to
Hasn't
use
had one
this
training session with Cassian.
you're gonna use this moment to see if she's worthy of being your mate, you fucking dick. Like, I think that
Yeah.
that's where she's at right
Oh,
now.
yeah,
That
yeah, yeah. I
she's
totally
seeing
think
this as
so.
being like, you're motivated by something else right now, and you're not thinking clearly.
Yeah.
Um,
Although I will say, Rhys has like seen also what Feyre is capable of, and thematically, like a lot of this is about believing in your woman, and a lot
mhm.
that's like their relationship comes back to those sort of themes a lot. So I will say it kind of fits there. But like, none of them they just think Feyre is this girl who been real pissy,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
is grumpy but he's
Well,
like
and
seen
even
her like
if
throw a bone in Amarantha and like be a
yeah, but
badass. So
also she's a bit broken now. And so I
yeah.
don't think that they I don't think that they don't think that she's capable at all because like
Mhm.
clearly she survived. I think that they're like, yeah, there's some point to saying I saw her under the mountain. I know what she's capable of, but I think they're like, yeah, but that's not who this girl is anymore.
Oh, but I do think like, like he also knows her spirit like on a like
Mhm.
he's her mate.
Mhm.
So maybe it's just like a hey, I have confidence or
Yeah.
it could just be fucking arrogance too. Like but I don't think so. I think there's sort of something like um it's like he just knows her better or just really truly believes in
Yeah.
her that he's like this girl is not the type to even however broken she is,
Yeah.
she doesn't bow to,
I do
like
think
I
that
don't know.
Moore and Azriel right now think he's being a dick about this though.
I definitely think so, but I'm
Because
just
even
saying what would
Azriel is
make
some
Rhys
right.
be willing to risk this is because he has actual total faith in her,
Yeah.
or he really believes in fate and he believes that his mother said your fiance will be able to get this, and he's like it has to be her, and he's
Yeah.
so confident, which is
Mhm.
also kind of crazy,
Yeah.
but is also like I don't know, it's very
And it's
interesting.
like I feel like they're kind of like, this is a convenient reason to send her to do this. Like,
Yeah,
oh, like, like this isn't necessary, Reese. There's other ways to test this. And even Azriel says this, right? Like when she asks who the Weaver is, he says an ancient wicked creature who should remain unbothered. He added in Reese's direction, find another way to test her abilities. Right.
yeah,
And Reese doesn't counter with there are
no,
no other ways. He just goes and looks at her like, you want to do this?
yeah,
He
which is
just
a
gave
little bit.
he gave himself plausible deniability.
Yeah. I will say the evil Reese theory kind of works for this because she doesn't know any amount of how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
And now again, he probably just really truly believes in her, knows this bitch ain't going down for a stupid little weaver. And that but that's also kind of crazy to risk your person's
The
life.
Weaver
But
is
also
Valg. It's not a stupid little Weaver.
exactly, yeah, well, maybe he's
Yeah.
just kidding,
But
but
yeah,
I don't know.
I think that the outrage that's happening right now and the pushback that we're getting from Moore and Azriel is because they think that Rhys is like,
Mhm.
well, that's a convenient fucking way to get this girl to test your theory
Mhm.
about whether or not she's and then it could also be that they're like, she's already your mate, why do you need to test her on, like, maybe they're almost feeling like defensive of her, being like,
Yeah. No, I
you
think
don't
so.
need her to get this ring for you, there's already a mate bond, what do you mean that she needs to find this fucking ring?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
and
she's already saved all of Prithian. She's already shown up here. She's already doing the thing. She already went to the Bone Carver. She's already working for you. She's giving her trust in you. And now you're still going to test her for your petty little bullshit because your mommy said that your girlfriend needs to be tough. Like, I could see them being like ripping
yeah.
into him about that.
And he's gonna be so smug when they get back. He's just gonna be like, "See."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But I will say, yeah, but the evil Rhys theory could really work here because he does not fully explain to her, and he just goes, "You want to go?" And it's
Yeah.
like posed as a choice, but it's also like if that was the real world, you would say, I would be mad at that person to be like,
Yeah.
"You let me choose and didn't give me anywhere near enough facts."
Yeah.
And I'd be pissed. But it is a magic world, and favorite is very powerful, and fate and blah blah blah. So, but I think this is one point for the evil Rhys theory
Yeah.
theorizers. There's another moment in here too. I forget where it is, but
There's an
not that I
interesting
believe that.
yeah, there is an interesting section right underneath the find another way to test her, right? So when he shrugs and says to let me choose always, it was always my choice with him these days. He hadn't let me go back to the spring court during those 2 visits because he knew how badly I needed to get away from it with a question, right?
Yeah,
And
she's suspicious too.
she's suspicious of this shift. And it's interesting for her to be like, why are you different? Why all of a sudden is this my choice when before it wasn't? And then, but she gives like kind of a cop out, right? Where she's like, well, maybe he knows, like maybe he knew more than me that I needed to not be there. And
Yeah,
that's why he didn't let me go. But it also could just be like, it's the shift in their relationship too, right? That there's this, you know, there's more, it's the trust building.
it's the part where you start to go, you get the love,
Yeah.
what is it called? Like you're love blind, where you're like, "Oh,
Yep.
but he knew me better than I knew me." And you like make the excuses. And it could go like if he was a bad person, this is where you're like, "Really? That you said that about like,
Yeah.
cuz it yeah.
Yeah.
But it also could just be
Or it
true,
could be
or it could
just,
just be
yeah.
cope on her end cuz she's like, "This is suspicious, but I don't know." And just
Well,
her
or and
thought.
it could just be that, right, that
Or a
there was
confession on her part too.
yeah, and it could just be that there's a level of resistance and a lack of trust before she left the spring court, and that's why
Yeah.
he couldn't let everything be her choice
Yeah.
because she hadn't sided with him.
Um, but yeah, I do think it's like maybe I is a little bit like maybe he knew what I needed is like a little bit like she's starting to trust Rhys over kind of herself and other people, like
Well,
instead of
and
she like he knows me, I trust him, so it probably was for a good reason. So
well,
there's a little bit of love blindness, could be sketchy, could be making
but
excuses, but it's
also
interesting.
But also this next thing is kind of him showing that he does know her, right? Because she
And I think he
says,
does, to be fair.
yeah, right. Only Rhys, it seemed, understood that it hadn't been entirely a joke, right? Because she jokes about the Bone Carver. Like, she's like, can't you
Yeah.
just guys use their fucking real names, right? Because your mortal tongues are not able to say it, right? Fucking heroin. But like, only Rhys seemed to know, understood that it wasn't entirely a joke. His face was tight, like he knew precisely how tired I was, how I knew I should be quaking at the thought of the Weaver. But after the Bone Carver, what I'd revealed to it, I could feel nothing at all. And Rhys immediately realizes that she's falling into this pit of despair. And he goes, how about adding another title? How about emissary for the humans? Then he gives her something, not one task. He gives her the task to live for, to save the humans,
Mhm.
to do for them what she did for Prithian.
I will say that is how I read the first time. This time I was thinking maybe I just had my evil Reese hat on, but
Okay.
I will say it has a vibe of like, how am I going to get this bitch to do something that she feels is not safe or isn't wise, or like how do I get her to not go with her intuition?
Everyone
I'll
wants
trade her
power.
with
I'm going
her
to give her.
family. Because he
Ah.
phrases that as, "Hey, you could help your family. Don't you want to help your family out?" On some level, you could read this as super manipulative, and
I
but
mean, considering that's exactly what Lionel does to Dante.
yeah. So right, but like I think like you could read it like that, and if there is an evil Reese arc, you
Yeah.
know, I I don't think there will be. I think
I
his
don't think
story
there
they
will be. I don't.
story
Yeah, I don't think there will
done.
be. No.
We're not touching that. But it is a moment where we can give the evil Reese people their due. But I think what it actually is, it speaks to like thematically, it actually works well because her thing is that she wants to be useful. She wants to do
Yeah.
things. Tamlin wouldn't let her do something. So when she is feeling lost and hopeless, he gives her a purpose, a job.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
do think it is actually intended by SJM to be this moment of him giving her what she actually wants and like being the good
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But there is a read on that that can
Yeah.
also be
But
very
he's
fucked
doing
up.
for her what Tamlin would never do,
Yes.
right? And he makes that comment later in the book, right? Where he's like, would you rather I lock you in the House of Wind and stuffed you with food and made you wear fine clothes and plan my parties?
Yeah.
Right? And she's like, go
Yeah.
to hell.
Yeah.
Right? And like, but yeah, like there seems to be I'm never gonna be on the you know, fucking
I'm never gonna be an evil
foot
racist
on
either.
my fucking mouth if it happens and fine, but like I'm good with that. But
No,
like
I
I will
think if it
never.
happens, it's improperly done. I don't think there's a way you could go back on Rhys now and not feel like it's a retcon.
Yeah.
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 I also say, okay, with the emissary thing, why is the first thing? So he does the kind of revealed emissary to the Night Court for the human realm, and it's kind of a big moment. And then Azriel immediately goes, "There hasn't been one for 500 years." And is he just speaking to like, there's a wall, we don't do that, or is there like some kind of like was this like it just makes you think like, well, first of all, I think Moore was the last emissary, and is he saying like we don't do that because we don't like? It seems like there's more here than just like, oh, that's a big deal. Like it seems like, is there a reason why they don't do this besides just there's a wall? And like, why is he saying it like that? Or is it just like, I don't know.
I don't think that Moore was the last one.
Miriam?
I mean, he says there also hasn't been a human turned immortal since then either.
But Miriam like got turned when she almost died doing her thing, and then she would like went away because after the war, like almost immediately. Or maybe she was emissary for like a little bit, and then when the war ended, she was like bye.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
But
did. I never got the impression that she was like that. I just got the impression
mhm.
that she played a big role. But
Mhm.
I always thought she turned the tide at the very end of the war,
Mhm.
got saved, made immortal, and then went off. So
Yeah.
I didn't think that. But maybe she. Yeah.
But
I
she
don't know.
didn't get remade into Fae. She's still a human. Right? I feel like
Yeah, she's
her
just
dude,
immortal.
I think her dude did something to her so that she would just live forever.
Yeah. Which is also crazy because, like, Fae aren't immortal.
Yeah.
They're just
You
close
just
to immortal. So
yeah,
is
you
she
give
gonna, like, outlive all the fucking Fae she does?
I don't know.
Her and Amren just gonna be like, the fuck?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I also want to know how she got turned.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I think it was with the cauldron.
I don't think
Right?
so. No, because she's not made.
Fuck, I don't know. Yeah. She
And
got a weird
the
stabbing.
cauldron wasn't in play in that war.
Yeah. I thought Miriam hid the cauldron on her island. Why do I think that?
She does at the end of the third book.
So the cauldron isn't. Oh, she currently hides the
She
cauldron.
currently hides the cauldron.
Oh, okay.
After they break it and fix it, then they ask them to take it because they're on an island that's unfindable. Which I'm wondering if that island is unfindable because it's part of the Dusk Court and it's going to be real findable because Bryce just raised all of the fucking shit in
Yeah,
her world, and I wonder if that magic is connected. And at the end of book 6, the big fucking cliffhanger reveal is that all of a sudden there's a bunch of fucking islands in
islands that rise out of the
between
sea.
Prithian and Hybern.
So, yeah, so we get yeah, who knows with fucking Miriam and
Well, yeah, it seemed weird that Azriel's like, there hasn't been one for 500 years. You're like, well, no shit, there's a wall.
yeah. Yeah.
Like
Is the position the problem, or is it the fact that there's a gigantic wall, Azriel? It
that,
makes
or
emissary
maybe he's
thing
pointing out
interesting.
that like
That
that's it's not
there's a
like
lot more
since the
reestablished problems.
wall, and because the wall's been up for so long, like it's an impossible position, Rhys. Like nobody's gonna be okay with that.
Yeah, like there's no contacts. How are you gonna have an emissary if
Well,
there's the
and
contacts
there's nobody
are
in the
dead?
human lands who are maybe he's pointing out like the like human lifespan where he's like, you know, there hasn't been one of those in 500 years. Like we remember it, but there's gonna be nobody in the human lands who are gonna be open to an emissary. They don't even know that's a thing.
There's no contacts. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think maybe that's what it is. But it was weird to me at first.
Cassian is also weirdly, he doesn't know, he's never met Nesta. And he is
I think
already
it's a weird comment too.
it is a weird protective something that is happening there, right? Because Rhys tells her we need to find a neutral territory, right? A place where humans trust us, trust you, where the other humans might risk going to meet with you to hear the voice of Prithian after 5 centuries. And she says, my family's estate. And he cusses at Rhys. And then
Yeah.
his wings flare wide enough to almost knock over a ceramic vase. You think we could just take over our family's house and demand that of them? Now, is he defensive because that's just his character? And he's like, you can't just go into places, Rhys, and be like, hey, you're going to be the fucking headquarters to an emissary. Or is this some weird mate bond shit that's happening already?
Yeah, well, it could be. I guess it could. Okay, I would say there's always a possibility. It's just a badly written piece of dialogue. Should have been edited.
Yeah.
Could be with that. It could be weird mate bond. It could also be maybe that like Nesta probably would have the same reaction of like if Nesta's in the room, she's gonna be like, "You're not coming to my fucking house." And maybe he's just made for her, and so he's like also having that reaction.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Or maybe it's the fucking 500 years that they've known each other, right? Cassian and Rhys and Azriel.
He's just like sick of Rhys being Aelin.
Yeah, he's just like, dude, you can't just like
waltz into places and
yeah. And but that's what's interesting though. He cusses at Rhys though for it, right? He's like, hey, we need to find a neutral territory. He's not I mean, maybe he is suggesting their house and he's just letting Feyre think it's her idea. And maybe that's why Cassian's like, but she's the one that says my family's estate, right? Because again, there's some plausible deniability where Rhys could have been like, I could have said
her
that
idea.
Yeah, it would. She said her family's estate. I didn't suggest that.
Mm-hmm.
I said to find a neutral territory.
Yeah.
But I think Cassian is like, already, maybe that's what he's saying. Like, like what I said, Ix's tits. Wrong book.
Wrong one. But I did think of that.
Yeah, but like maybe that's what he's like. He kind of gets that, like, of course that's what her answer would be. Of course she's going to choose her family. Maybe that's why he's annoyed, because he sees a little bit of that, like, maybe he's calling out Rhys for being manipulative.
Yeah. Yeah. Cassian's an evil Rhys theorizer.
Right? Cassian's like, I've seen you push people into conversations to make them feel like these ideas are theirs so that you can come out to, 1, get what you want, and 2, seem like the good guy. Can you stop doing that to her?
I know, because Cassian's also the one who's the most like, you know, not least trickery, you know? So I can just be like, hey, fucking no. None of that.
Or
bullshit.
Cassian is the one that is most like warfare, like strategic. And so maybe he's seeing the like war strategy of this. And that's what he's calling Rhys out for, being like, she is not someone to war strategize with. She's not a pawn.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, these people aren't, like, maybe that's what he's seeing Rhys do like the battle mind, and Cassian can see that, but then he realizes we're talking about people, Rhys. We're talking about humans that we've already fucked over.
Mm-hmm.
So like, maybe we don't do this, and like maybe that's what it is, that he's more calling him out for being like, can you stop acting like this is just another pawn in this game?
Yeah. And that makes sense why Moore responds with like, hey, it's gonna be their problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then she's worried because she's like, do I have to go through the spring court to do this?
Yeah.
And he says, like, we'll fly in from the, you know.
See, the way that he answers so quickly, I mean, or just the way that this conversation went, that part again, because I'd already been sort of thinking it, also felt like no, we got it. Well, it's fine. You know, it feels like just agree to it, okay? I've already thought through all this, and now you got to say yes. Like, it feels a little, like, desperate, and then I was like...
it could also be that, because she talks about at the beginning of this, that, like, she is super quiet because she's still reeling herself in from what she just did. So like maybe her mental barriers are down, at least maybe not like actual thoughts, but maybe like emotions.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And so then when she says, right, the spring court borders on the wall, maybe he can feel
He's just
that,
trying to make her feel better.
or he's just like, he gets it, right? She doesn't have to say, I don't want to see Tamlin. I don't want to travel through that. And like maybe he feels some of that resistance, or he smells it. Who fucking knows, right? Because they can smell arousal, right? They can also smell fear. And so maybe he just gets that, and he's automatically like, we'll go this other way.
Yeah, but I will say, if you could read it like in an evil Rhys way. The last part of my evil Rhys collection for today is the thing that gets her to do it, which is that something flashes in her mind. And we know somebody who can send things to her mind, and I don't think it's true, but it's a little fucked up. If you were to go, if you really say Rhys is evil, I'll do it. Claire Better's broken and nailed body flashed in my vision. And like, if we are Rhys and we are evil, that's one way to do it. That gets you to seal the deal when there have been excuses flying. I don't think so. I think she's traumatized. This is her PTSD traumatic impulse. But there's a
yeah.
It's
well,
it is
shit.
there.
I don't like that it works, but it works.
I think that works either. And I think it would be stupid if it was a thing. So I'm gonna just say, here you go. You guys, you little evil Rhys theorizers, you can play with that, but that's all you get. But yeah, but you know, it just shows that she's still being shaped by her trauma, and she's still
and it's a real. I mean, and to go with the evil Rhys thing, or at least with even with the trauma, it's a fast shift from Nesta hadn't wanted any dealings with the Fae, and Elaine was so gentle, so sweet. How could I bring this to them? And I underlined that Elaine is so gentle and so sweet, and I wrote, is she though? And then immediately, like it's like not even a full conversation. She's like, I'll do it. So it's a quick turnaround for her being like, how could I bring this to my sister? Although the real argument of how can I bring it to my sister is that she's not bringing it to her sister. They're going to be there regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, Moore's reason is really what probably actually seals the deal.
And then but then when she's like, they may not be happy about it, but I'll make Elaine and Nesta do it. And then she says, I didn't have the nerve to ask Rhys. And then I didn't have the nerve to ask Rhys if he can simply force my family to agree to help us if they refused. I wonder if his powers would work on Nesta when Tamlin's glamour had failed against her steel mind. And I think that's going to be, I mean, that's going to come up later.
I underlined that, and I was like, yeah, she knows that Nesta ain't normal. Either the Fae part of Feyre knows that, the part that was already Fae, or the part of her that knows that Nesta's already
and then,
Fae.
do you realize that at the end of this is when he calls her Feyre darling again, when he goes into that romantic space? It's settled then. Once Feyre darling returns from the Weaver, we'll bring Hybern to his knees.
Is that the first time he said Feyre darling since the wedding? No, he said it.
No, I think he said it before. But
yeah,
like,
it is very classic moment.
Well, but it feeds into like his motivations for the Weaver are about the mate bond marriage stuff, and not so much about like Hybern.
You could just go cast a spell on something and be like, which book did I put my little spell
exactly on? Right, he could go into his trove, right? He's got a huge fucking area, and he'd be like, pick out the thing I put a concealment spell on.
Yep. So yeah, but you know, he's theatric. He's here for the drama. This next scene honestly just feels. Oh, actually, let's talk about the dream. Yeah, they all go off, and she's like, "Whatever, I'm gonna eat."
They went to Rita's. They went to hang out at Rita's and have a drink, and she wasn't invited.
And to get in Rhys, they're like, "Rhys, you're so stupid. Why are you doing this right now?" Like they're like lecturing.
That's the scene I want. Could you imagine that they're just at Rita's and they're all like, you know, 6-7 drinks in, and Moore's like, "You're really gonna fucking send her in there to get your fucking ring, you piece of shit." And they're probably like, Joe, and then Azriel's like not saying anything, and Cassian's like, what do you mean? What did you do?
I bet you they're like, bitch, you're not gonna do this. Okay, Azriel's gonna post up on this side, and he's gonna come in if there's anything. Like, I bet you, like, I don't know. That's what I would be doing. I'd be like, you're crazy for this. And he's like, no, and they're like, oh, you better hope so.
They're having this full ass conversation, and Cassian's oblivious, and that's why when we get to the thing where he's like, I suspected it, and then Moore's gonna be like, we talked about it at Rita's before she went to the Weaver.
Like, oh, that's what you were talking about.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Seth. Just kidding. But yeah, dreamed of a long white bone carved with a horrifying accuracy, my face twisted in agony and despair, the ash knife in my hand, a pool of blood leaking away from 2 corpses. Now, the 2 corpses are obviously, like, the under the mountain stuff, but long white bone carved with a horrifying accuracy of her face? Is that the bone carver carving her bone thing in real time?
Oh.
Like, is she seeing into, like, because they gave him bones and stuff, and what
Yeah.
is he predicting her well, I don't
No,
know.
he's sending her a little thing like, "Told you I'd carve your death into this."
I think he just means he's carving her previous death.
Yeah, well, that's what he was gonna carve her death, the one that she told him about.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe
Interesting.
she's seeing that, but I was like, because why else we seeing this long white bone?
But she is having a nightmare about the worst part of Under the Mountain for her, but she doesn't get up to vomit.
Yes. No, it felt
We're
like very
healing.
much the
We're
growth
healing.
moment.
We're healing. We're healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another brick.
Mhm. And then I just imagine Rhys is like sitting in his room and he's like, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. And then like the
"This
second
one
she's
again?"
awake, he's like, get up!
Yeah.
Let's go. Because she's like, right. A mere
Mhm.
minute after I'd risen to consciousness, Rhys knocked on my door. So he's just
Mhm.
like, come on. Come on.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot except for, this is obviously just a super flirty time. He's
Yeah.
touching her thighs, he's helping
Mm-hmm.
put on her clothes, he's touching her underwear and teasing her. Like,
Well, he's
little
also,
banter
she's kind
moment.
of already calling his bullshit. Like she's already calling, right? She's like, um, right. You suspected this for a while, though. The cauldron, the king, the book. You wanted to confirm it, but you were waiting for me. And he's like, had you agreed to work with me 2 months ago, I would have taken you right to the Bone Carver to see if he confirmed my suspicions about your talents, but things didn't go as planned. And then she's even like, the reading. That's why you insisted on the lessons. So if your suspicions were true, I could harness the book, could actually read it or any translation or whatever's inside. He goes, again, had you started working with me, I would have told you why. I couldn't risk discovery otherwise, because you should have learned how to read no matter what. But yes, when I told you it served my own purposes, it was because of this. And so, like, she's already like, she's seeing his inner working. She's calling his bullshit. She's being like, this is how this worked out. This is what you've been thinking. And then he's learning her boundaries, right? Do you blame me for it? Right? Are you mad? Kind of a thing. And she's like, no, but I prefer to be notified in any future schemes. And he's like, noted. And so like there's a level of this whole conversation where she's like, I see what you did. And he's like, yes, I did do that. Are you mad? She's like, no, but if you're gonna do this shit in the future, why would you just let me know? And he's like, okay, I got you. Like
Hit
it's
the mate on, Rhys.
right. I want to know, what does he think she would choose for her own underpants? Like he pulls out this cute little lacy something and he's like, I would have thought that you would ask them to get you something else. Like, what do you think Feyre wears? Like a sports bra and granny panties?
I think it's that thing you do when you're just like trying to make any conversation and you're like, oh, I like this, but I gotta act like I don't like it that much or that I'm unbothered. So I'm just gonna just make some joke. Oh, I didn't know you like this
Or,
thing.
or he's like, well, she's not mad at me, so now I can flirt.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think that's why he's like talking about like the
Yeah.
style. I think he is like, hell yeah, wait, I gotta be normal. What can I say? What can I say? I'm touching her underwear. Like,
Mm-hmm. And then he does the thing that he only does for her and Nesta one time. He kneels for her.
mhm. Yeah,
And is
very
touching on her legs
the whole time, and
the
and she's
whole
also
time.
noticing more bricks. It's just oh, and he just his hands on my
Mhm.
thigh, and
Mhm.
and it's very kind of
And also
toxic.
starting to see, like, I don't, again, I know that we're indulging in the Rhys evil theory. I'm not going to right now. I think she's seeing the difference between like real Rhys and mask Rhys, right? Because
Mhm.
she's like, so he's tightening the straps, right? Strong, capable hands, so at odds with the finery he usually wore to dazzle the rest of the world into thinking he was something else entirely. So she's
Mhm.
starting to just see all of these things, but she's still, because she's breaking those down, she is questioning it too, right? That like when, like, bow, he'd once ordered Tamlin, and now he was here on his knees before me. His eyes glinted as if he remembered it too. Had it been part of his game, that facade, or had it been like so now she's going, cool, I know what his mask looks like and I know what his realness looks like. So now I'm going to go and replay all of these moments together and
Which
try to
is which.
figure out which is which.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And by the way, for the record, I'm not an evil Rhys person. I gotta give them their
I
little
know.
snacks, but we're
You gotta be
always pro Rhys
yes.
in general. But yeah, because they every time I wrote an evil Rhys theory in my notes today, I was like, ew, right after it. 'Cause I
I
hate
want to
Rhys.
know if this answer for what he gives her is complete and utter bullshit.
What?
So,
The weapons?
no. The why can't he go and get it himself?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking about what he literally gives her, which is the knives.
No,
Okay,
he gives her
so
knives.
where is
No.
that?
Right. So I'm at the bottom of 212. I'm going to end up on 213, right?
Okay.
So, right. If she notices me, then we'll learn precisely how skilled you are. Cruel, conniving bastard. I glared at him. Rhys shrugged. Would you rather I locked you in the House of Wind and stuffed you with food and made you wear fine clothes and plan my parties? And she says, go to hell. Why not get this object yourself if it's so important? Because the Weaver knows me, and if I'm caught, there would be a steep price. High Lords are not to interfere with her, no matter the direness of the situation. And I said, but you employ her for the war. So no matter
It's not a High Lord, it's a High Lady who employs her.
No, he went to her. He went to the Bone Weaver. Or he went to the Bone Weaver, Jesus Christ. He went to the Weaver.
Oh, Feyre got the Carver?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had it backwards. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
he went and fucking like
maybe it's
talked
different
to
when
her
there's
one on
people
one.
involved. When
Huh?
like maybe you can't like fuck with her stuff, but you can do a deal or ask for her help, and that's different than like interfering. But I don't think he's lying to her necessarily. I will also say, point against my evil Reese theories from earlier is that now he tells her the true danger of it and is like, she's, I mean, well, still not, you can't really explain the true danger of it, I suppose, but he is at
Yeah.
least making it clear, like, you got to be careful, don't
Mm-hmm.
fuck it up. So he is
But at the
at least
same
clarifying.
time, I don't know, like the answer for why he can't go is
Mommy is,
also, yeah, it's not my task to go. It's always been your task.
yeah,
But
but he
he
definitely
can't
can't say
say
that.
that. So it feels like
Uh, But I feel like he
high
would
lords aren't
lie.
supposed. Yeah, I mean,
Well, also from a writing perspective, I think it's a nice place to drop some lore. Like,
yeah, that's true.
so
But
I feel like
also
it's not a lie
but
because of
she's
that, but it
also
could be.
dropping questionable lore, right? There are many treasures in her hoard, some that she's kept for a millennia. Okay, cool. So now we know that the bone carver's really old,
Millennia.
or we know that the weaver's super old.
Yeah,
Most will
which we
never
kind
be
of knew.
retrieved because the High Lords do not dare to be caught. Thanks to the laws that protect her. What laws? What are those laws?
The laws around
Thanks
the
to her.
middle.
Yeah, but we don't ever hear those laws.
I think we do in book 5. I think the
Okay.
laws of the Wild Hunt. I think she's part of the Wild Hunt times.
And the bog stuff, right? That you're not supposed to. Okay.
Yes. Well, because the bog's in the middle, and so you're not the middle is her
Yeah.
territory, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Okay, we took the rest of Prithian, you get the middle." And,
Got it.
I feel like she may have Wild Hunt rules, though, and that's why she's not in the prison is because she's, like, she made some
Hmm.
fucking deal or something.
Still, I would love to know what those laws are. Um,
Me too.
and then, right, either they do not return or they're never sent for fear of it leading back to their High Lord. So if a High
Or they
Lord
get
sent,
away with it,
yeah, but I'm like,
and just so we know.
so that like it comes back on the high, like if Baron sent somebody to go get something from the Weaver and he gets caught, it comes back like Baron gets her. I mean, I guess like if it's her
Or maybe that's
wrath,
just
yeah.
always her right, and that no one's willing to
Hmm.
risk it. But I mean, plenty of people could have just risked it and then never told any of the other High Lords. Or maybe people would find out, and she'd be like, "He violated it." But maybe he's just
Well,
like, "It was in
and
every
also
court.
saying
You
that
won't be able to
like
find anyone."
it's also saying a little bit of like you're not going to get me in trouble for me sending you because you belong to all the courts. So
Yeah, so
gives
you're the
her a
only one who
reason
gets true anonymity.
and gives her a reason to understand that she can do this while protecting Rhys.
Yeah.
which also is a little, yeah.
And I don't know.
And then she writes, "So I'm your huntress and thief." And his hand slid up to cup the backs of my knees, and he said with a roguish grin, "You're my salvation, Feyre."
Such a flirt. Such a drama flirt.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, iconic
Mm-hmm.
lines.
Mm-hmm. It
It's
is.
it
Yeah.
doesn't really fit, but it's one of those ones she knows, oh, people will post this on Tumblr.
Yes. People will put that on a coffee mug.
Yeah. Yeah. And then yeah, dude,
Me,
the
I'm
the
people.
Weaver is chapter 20 and 21, and then
Mm-hmm.
21 ends, I think, with I have so many notes in chapter 20. Um and then I think the end of chapter 21 is when she gets the Ianthe backstory. And
Okay.
then yeah, I don't know what they do. Oh, and then they go to the human lands after.
Nice. Yeah,
We should
so
read
next,
the Cassian bonus chapter.
yeah, I think it's after, it's a while though. I
We
think
should figure
it's,
it out where it is and read it in order with this, because
yeah, we will.
yeah, that'll be a nice experience. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to see the freaking creepy ass Weaver next week. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we get to, we're gonna listen to this. I have a theory about the song she's singing.
Oh yes, that's what I wrote a lot of my notes about, was like what I don't remember, I haven't reread it yet, but I have a
Yeah.
lot of thoughts about that, and yeah.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so next week we will do chapter 20. We're going to enter into the Weaver's Cottage. Until then, to the stars who listen, we'll see you next week.